so many things have happened. I just want to come in and talk about some of them. I can't believe that they are bulldozing the homeless camps sites in Minneapolis because of the Black Lives Matter movement. What does the Black Lives Matter movement and homeless camps have to do with one another? It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so apparently the City of Minneapolis agreed, probably because of some of the homeless advocates out there, to allow people to set up tents without penalizing them and without evicting them. And word caught on, and a few more people set up, and more. So eventually had about 550 people, which is probably a good representation of how many people there are in that area experiencing homelessness. Now what I'm saying is yippee-yi-yay. I'm so happy that people had a place to set up their tents. No one, see, they have the wrong approach about helping people anyway. People should be allowed to set up wherever they can. And then you go in and you support those people. See what their needs are. It never should have reached 550 because there should have been enough support that caseworkers, social workers, whoever works with that homeless population should have gone in there and met their needs and got them into decent housing. A tent is just a holdover. And people need to recognize, cities need to recognize, municipalities need to recognize that people have to go somewhere to be safe. And wherever that place is, you don't disturb that. You go in to make sure that they're safe and do all that you can in your power to put them in a better place, in a safer place. This whole sort of penalizing people for losing everything they have and judging people is really belongs in another day and time. We understand now that people go through so many crises, medical crises. The healthcare system is just messed up. Many people lose housing because of their of a medical condition. Job layoffs are popping up all over the place. Corporate mergers, corporate corruption, there's foreclosures, there's so many reasons why people end up on the streets. And when they need help, the last thing they need is someone to go to a tent, knocking on their door and, saying, look, you got to leave here. Let's be thankful these people at least had a place to stay. And so Minneapolis, unbelievably, is one of the first cities to actually allow people to sleep on the city streets. But the first little wind that comes along and blows along, in this case, well, it's not a little wind. It's Black Lives Matter movement is pretty huge and obtrusive into our everyday lives. And look who pays for it. The nation's most vulnerable people in that area are paying for things that should have been settled eons ago. Some of this stuff was settled last century. The homeless crisis is something that is real and front and center in front of us now. And they're having to pay. They're having to pay for this madness called the Black Lives Matter movement. So I want to talk more about this Minneapolis place. It really is significant, so I really want to talk about it because it's one of the few cities that has allowed people to sleep outdoors in tents without being fined and evicted and harassed. And then they freak out when the numbers climb. But I'm keeping an eye on that because from what I understand, they're going to sort of reassess and try to put people in different locales, maybe not all together, which is still a good sign because when you've lost everything, this country doesn't have a means for you to get back. HUD and all that, HUD housing is a far cry from being homeless. Even the Housing First does not address the homeless issue in its entirety. These were noble programs, but they do not address the homeless crisis in its entirety. So, yes, people need tents. In the circumstances that we live in now, people have to have some place to stay. Some people stay in their cars. Some people stay in tents. That's pretty much the most common places. Of course, people couch surf and that sort of thing. But the tent has taken people through much of the homeless crisis, and America needs to wake up, and these municipalities need to take notice. Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk about another encampment from where I live in the next video. I just slipped out, take notice. It was called Camp Take Notice. So they do need to take notice that people are not animals, that just because you have the ability to bulldoze someone's living environment doesn't give you the right. We're talking about human rights now. Human rights. We've done the civil rights thing. Now let's talk about human rights. And hopefully that's what I'll continue to talk about in the next video. This has been Let's Talk, and my channel is called As the Third World in North America Turns. I hope you will subscribe and like this video if you got something out of it. Talk to you soon.